What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. And just saw some sad news for those who grew up watching basketball in the Emerald City. Gus Williams, the point guard, nicknamed Wizard, who helped lead the Supersonics to their only NBA championship in 1979, passed away yesterday, nearly 5 years after suffering a stroke. He was 71 years old. Nicknamed the Wizard for his combo of speed, athleticism, and scoring, Williams spent 6 seasons of his NBA career with the Supersonics. He was a dynamic score-first point guard at a time that kind of player wasn't a regularity in the professional game, and evolved from being a second-round pick out of college at USC into one of the best guards of his generation. Williams' career ended after spending the 1986-87 season with the Atlanta Hawks, and his career began as a draft pick of the Golden State Warriors. But his career will forever be defined by what he did during his time in Seattle. During his career, Williams earned 2 All-Star Game appearances, 1 All-NBA first-team selection in 1982, and was All-NBA second team in 1980. He was also willing to clash with management and set out the entire 80-81 season because of a contractual dispute with Sonics management. His absence was also significant, so significant the Sonics tumbled, going from winning 56 games in 1979-80 to 34 wins the following season. And you have to wonder what could have happened if the backcourt of Gus Williams and Dennis Johnson, later known for his tenures with the Phoenix Suns and especially the Boston Celtics. What if a young Dennis Johnson and Gus Williams got to team up a little bit longer? Dennis Johnson, the defensive giant, Gus Williams, a scoring phenom. Dennis Johnson, never a great jump shooter, more known when he was younger for slashing to the basket. Gus Williams, more of a mid-range outside shooter. Their games complemented one another, and you'll have to wonder how great that duo could have been if they could have stayed together longer. When Williams returned for the 1981-82 season, he averaged a career-high 23.4 points per game, finishing 5th in MVP voting, and was named the league's comeback player of the year. And with Williams back, the Sonics won 48 games before losing to Portland in the first round of the playoffs. Several people took to social media to post about the passing of the great Gus Williams. Former teammate Wally Walker said word was being passed along former Sonics teammates. Walker said last night his energy was always so positive and his sense of humor was always there. He got along with everybody. It was always fun with Gus and a lot of laughs. Williams, unfortunately, was living in a care facility in the Baltimore area at the time of his passing. A cause of death was not immediately known, but Williams suffered a significant stroke in February of 2020 and needed assisted care in the years since. His last known public appearance in Seattle came in 2017 when he attended the WNBA All-Star Game at Key Arena, and in 2019 when the Mariners honored the Sonics' legacy on June 1st, 40 years to the day of winning the NBA title. Williams was unheralded when he signed as a free agent with the Sonics following 2 seasons in Golden State to start his career. He had finished second in Rookie of the Year voting in 75-76, but there wasn't much to suggest he'd become a scoring star. The start of his Sonics tenure was tepid, but that changed when Lenny Wilkens took over as head coach and Williams became a permanent starter. Putting Williams in the starting lineup alongside Dennis Johnson sent Slick Watts to the bench, defensive great Slick Watts to the bench, and made Fred Brown, downtown Fred Brown, the great shooter of the 70s, the sixth man for the Sonics. Williams started 66 of the final 67 games he played in the 77-78 regular season. averaging 19.6 points per game, and scored in double figures in 64 of those 67 games. The Sonics were just 2-10 when that stretch started for Williams. They finished the regular season 47-35. Williams was just as good in the playoffs as the Sonics went all the way to the NBA Finals before losing to the then Washington Bullets in Game 7 of the 78 Finals. That was just a precursor to the following season when Williams and his teammates were left celebrating at the conclusion of the playoffs. Williams was good in the regular season, averaging 19.2 points per game. He was great in the playoffs, averaging 26.7 and scored 30 or more points in 7 of 17 games on the way to the championship, even if Dennis Johnson ended up being the playoffs or finals MVP. The Sonics went 52-30 during their championship year. The championship run embedded Williams as a star beyond Seattle. He graced the cover of Sports Illustrated to honor the championship. His contract holdup was one of the biggest stories in the league, as was his return a year later. His time in Seattle concluded after the '84 season, when he was traded to the Washington Bullets as the Supersonics chose to build around Jack Sikma. And as was reported before, Williams' health took a turn for the worse in February of 2020 when he suffered a big stroke. Insurance didn't cover all of his needs in recovery, which helped lead to the start of the Sonics Legends Fund. The organization has raised money to help pay for former Sonics dealing with health issues, most notably Williams and Slick Watts. Sandy Gregory, who worked for the Seahawks for more than 40 years before retiring in 2018 and started a similar program with the NFL team, knew Williams when he was a player at USC, and she worked in the sports information department for the Trojans. The effort to help pay for Williams' medical bills led to the start of the organization. Once again, the great Gus Williams, Sonics great and 1979 NBA champion, has passed away at the age of 71. May he rest in peace.